I just read a story this morning that we've got Delta Force and SEAL teams, SEAL Team 6, standing by to go into Israel. But that's to get American hostages, maybe. And so they're standing by to help with the hostage location and, if need be, help get the Americans out. I don't know if they'll help get Israelis out, but they're going to help with the hostage situation.
Yeah, I mean, here's a meme going around that has been repurposed for so many causes. But that's a... There we are. There we are.
That's funny.
If you're listening to this, it's the guy walking with his girlfriend, looking back at the girl. He's the American holding hands with Ukraine, looking back, checking out Israel.
And she's pissed.
And of course, honestly, Ukraine is pissed. That has been repurposed.
Yes, it has. But it's a good one.
Many different things.
It's so good. It's absolutely perfect.
And so that would be Zelensky walking arm in arm with Joe Biden. Netanyahu walking by. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what kind of support this government gives.
I mean, they've said the right things so far.
Yes, they have.
They've, promised to be there for them, to have their back. So I don't know. We'll see.
Erdogan in Turkey, though, apparently is not happy because here's a quote from him. He says the U.S. shot down a Turkish drone in Syria.
Oh, no.
When it is suitable for them.
I think we thought it was Iranian, didn't we?
Yeah,
it was from Iran.
So it just goes to the chaos that Jeffy alluded to with Taiwan and China. I mean, this thing is...
Yeah.
It's
a mess.
And I keep hearing we're sending, we've got one carrier troop already that will be there soon. And they're thinking about sending another carrier troop. And then I'm thinking to myself, well... I mean, hopefully the planes can work because it's been an issue with the...
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
So John Kirby making the rounds yesterday, he was asked if it's time to refreeze the $6 billion to Iran.
There's a lot of talk about the $6 billion and the American hostage exchange. I heard you also say that it can be frozen at any time. Why isn't this the time to freeze that?
I don't have any policy decisions with respect to that to speak to you today, Brett. I think it's important for people to remember that not a single dinar of those funds has gone into Iran. Not one. Not any. Nothing's been allocated out of that fund.
Yeah, John,
and we're going to watch this.
Block money is fungible. You get $6 billion over here for humanitarian and food, so then you can move money someplace else. And then you have the not enforcing sanctions that allows Iran to cash in on its oil around the world.
Brett, with all due respect, I just got to push back on you there. It's not that we're not enforcing sanctions. We have been enforcing them. As a matter of fact, we've added sanctions. We've sanctioned 400 entities in Iran just in the beginning of this administration, let alone the sanctions that came before us. And as for the fungibility, again, that money was never going to be tapped by the Iranian regime. They were never going to see it themselves. It was always going to go to vendors that we approved to go to buy humanitarian assistance and medical and food to get directly to the Iranian people. The regime was never going to see that or feel that, and they haven't asked for it. And the other thing I'll say, Brett, just before we get off this topic,
is John, I want to just push back on one thing. You said that the sanctions are being enforced. The Iranian exports of oil to China, 2020, $6.6 billion. 2021, $23.1 billion. 2022, $30 billion. So how is that enforcing the sanctions on Iran?
Thank you.
We're mindful that Iranian oil is still on the market, and it is a global market.
That's a lot of money, right?
Supply and demand have to be balanced, but I'm telling you that we are enforcing the sanctions, and we're adding sanctions to the regime. But back on that $6 billion, it's not like the Iranians were ever going to be able to get all $6 billion or even $1 billion at a time. The idea would be it would be allocated in very small chunks. So the idea that even if they had started to draw on that fund, that it would be able to fund Hamas.
Let's just move that aside. Let's just say that that's fine. The $6 billion is not moving, but there's billions and billions of other dollars. And is there a look now at Iran policy because of what's being funneled to Hamas and Hezbollah?
There has always been a review of Iran policy, and we have always been looking for ways to continue to hold Iran accountable for.
I tell you, I dislike these people.
Every last one of them.
Dislike these people.
Every last one of them.
Kirby is a douchebag, and he works for douchebags, and there's just no way around it. And they're just lying sacks. Everything they say is a lie. And you can't trust anything they tell you. Not a single thing. Andrew Sullivan was also asked about that $6 billion because people are a little concerned about the $6 billion for some reason. I don't know why. We just freed it up, and then all of a sudden Iran helps Hamas attack Israel. Yeah, I'm sure it's just wild coincidence. Has nothing to do with anything, right?
Kirby won't even call it dollars.
No, a dinar. Not a single dinar.
Okay,
shut up.
John.
Here's Andrew Sullivan.
You just laid out all of the ways that Iran is complicit in this and facilitated it over years of support for Hamas. Is that reason enough to refreeze the $6 billion that the U.S. helped unlock for them to get in exchange for the prisoners?
No.
We have not yet had a dollar.
Not a dollar, not a dinar.
Spent. And I will leave it at that.
But will you refreeze it based on this activity that you just laid out?
Refreeze
all of the ways that they are complicit in.
Refreeze.
The administration said that if we see them going in the wrong direction, that we would stop that
Is this
down.
the wrong direction?
I understand the position that you guys have, that not a dollar of this has been spent. But will you prevent it from getting into their hands to allow them to, do what they do that you just laid out?
Let me just reiterate what I said.
Let him reiterate.
It's unequivocal.
It's unequivocal.
Not a dollar of that money has been spent.
Not a dollar.
And I will leave it at that.
Why will you leave it at that? Why can't you answer the question?
Right.
Hold on. Like, this deal was struck on September 11th. That was a month ago today.
Dang it, man.
If I'm Iran, man, you need a new bank. Why does it take that long for them to get their money? I mean, I'm glad they don't have it yet, but at least according to this lying administration.
Yeah, and why aren't you refreezing it? Why aren't you making sure they're not going to retrieve it?
If it's still in transit, there shouldn't be no question.
Because they said from the beginning, hey, we could always refreeze that money if they're going in the wrong direction. Seems to me they went in the wrong direction.
Well, Pat.
Yeah.
Not one single dinar.
Not one dinar
has
been spent. So.
You know who's not getting enough credit during this, and how calm the Middle East relatively is Donald Trump with the Abraham Accords.
That's for sure.